Hello everyone, I hope all of you are fine. So my name is Shubham and today we'll be starting with our next chapter, rather the first chapter of physics, physical world and measurements. Okay, so as far as your physical world part of this chapter is concerned, it is a very simple chapter. Only 3 marks question would be there in your final exams. So not of a much weightage of a chapter, but still we need to learn this. After going through this video, you can read it from your NCERT or from your what you can say any reference book if you are having. I would prefer you read it from your NCERT only. So let's start with this chapter. Physical world means the word science originates from the Latin word means to know. So physical worlds mean whatever phenomena that are taking place or that are occurring around us. Knowing those physical phenomena, the physical world deals with such phenomena, of course. Scientific method means whatever methods we have for the observation of such phenomena that are occurring. We have systematic observations, controlled experiments, we do experiments, of course, qualitative and quantitative reasoning, mathematical modeling, prediction and verification or falsification of theories. Okay, so this is nothing to do with this chapter. These are the basic examples of the scientific methods that we have. This thing you need to learn, or you need to remember, that what are the major contribution of the various physicists like Isaac Newton, Oersted, Faraday, Maxwell, Glasgow, Salam, Weinberg. So out of these few scientists we'll be studying in detail as well in class +2 and +1, and you need to remember their contribution, what they have or what they have done rather in physics. Don't need to remember these years, you can skip these years if you want. So these are a few things that you need to remember. And then comes the concept of scope and excitement of physics. Whenever we deal with the subject physics, there are two types of theories that come into the picture. One is macroscopic phenomena and the other one is microscopic phenomena. Okay. In case of macroscopic phenomena, we include the phenomenon that are occurring at the laboratory, terrestrial and astronomical scales. Means we deal with the classical physics in this part, classical physics or Newtonian physics as well. Means the physics which was at the time of Newton, or basic laws were related that were given by the Newton only. This includes the mechanics, thermodynamics, optics and electrodynamics. These are the few chapters that we'll be studying in detail, of course, in +1 and +2. Second aspect is the microscopic level. Microscopic level deals with the atomic, molecular and nuclear phenomena. These phenomena is known as quantum physics, and this era of physics is also known as Einstein's era of physics. So total what we do in our +1 +2 physics has been divided into two eras. One is the classical physics, that is the Newtonian physics, and second is the what you can say quantum physics, which is the Einstein theory of physics or Einstein's theory of relativity we also learn not in detail but the basic part of it. Then these are the few things that you need to remember. What is the range of length we can measure? It ranges from 10⁻⁻14 to 10⁻+26 meter. Range of mass 10⁻⁻30, as we know that the mass of electron ranges from 10⁻⁻31 9.1 into 10⁻⁻31 to the range of 10⁻55 kg. And range of time is 10⁻⁻20 seconds to 10⁻18 seconds. So you just need to write these in your notebooks. Just note it down. We need not to study these things in detail, just note it down in your notebooks. After that we have fundamental forces in nature. Fundamental forces means the basic forces on which the nature is governed. First is the gravitational force. This we have learned in detail in class 9, the force acting between two masses. It is the force of mutual interactions between the two objects by the virtue of their masses. This we know. It is a universal force. Universal force means it exists in each and every body that is having mass. It plays a key role in large scale phenomena of universe such as formation and evolution of stars, galaxies and galactic clusters. So these are the few things of properties about the gravitational force. Gravitational force is appreciable only when at least one of the two bodies has a larger mass. Means there has to be a comparative ratio of masses. It is not valid, I won't say. It is not correct if we try to find a gravitational force between two electrons whose mass lies in the range of -31. मतलब अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन का मास ही 10⁻⁻31 की रेंज में है, उसमें ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स निकालने का कोई मतलब ही नहीं बनता, because the mass is very less. by the formula F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. तो डिटेल में हम लोग करेंगे of course इसको. The next is they are always attractive in nature. Gravitational forces are always attractive in nature. This we know. And next type of force that comes to our picture is electromagnetic force. Electro means charge related, magnetic means magnetism related. So when we combine such forces, this force is known as electromagnetic force. So electromagnetic force is the force between two charged particles. Okay, this we know. When the charges are at rest, this is known as Coulomb's law. This we'll be learning in detail about this we'll be learning in detail in class +2, not in +1. When the charges are in motion, they produce magnetic fields, giving rise to a force on a moving charge. Okay, this thing we will learn in class +2, but for now you can note down their points, you can note down their properties, what these forces are about. This is quite strong, quite a stronger force as compared to gravity. Like gravitational force, electromagnetic force acts over the larger distances and does not need the intervening medium. Intervening medium means it does not require any medium if any forces are being acting in this. The electric force between the two protons is 10⁻36 times the gravitational force between them. So you can very well imagine how strong these forces are as compared to the gravitational force. They are attractive as well as repulsive in nature. If the two charges would be from opposite sign, they would be attractive in nature, and if the two charges would be of same sign, they would be repelling in nature. ठीक है, तो ये भी समझ आ गया अपने को. Next is the strong nuclear force. Nuclear force binds the protons and neutrons in a nucleus, means whatever thing that is happening inside the atom, that comes under the nucleus forces. We know that an atom consists of a nucleus and the revolving electrons, and nucleus has protons and neutrons in it. So whatever the forces that with which the protons and neutrons are bound in a nucleus, that force is known as a nuclear force. It is evident that without some attractive force, a nucleus will be unstable due to the electric repulsions between the protons. मतलब प्रोटॉन में अगर रिपल्शन होगी तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है कि उसमें अट्रैक्शन ज़्यादा होनी चाहिए. ओनली देन दे वुड बी स्टेबल. जो अट्रैक्टिव फोर्सेज होती हैं स्ट्रॉन्ग वाली, उसको हम न्यूक्लियर फोर्सेज बोलते हैं. ठीक है, they are the strongest of all the fundamental forces. This we have already learned. It is charge independent and it is equal for protons as well as neutrons, and we'll learn again in detail for these forces about in class +2. मतलब इसके बारे में भी हम +2 में डिटेल में पढ़ते हैं. +1 में ग्रेविटेशन के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, बट स्टिल यू नीड टू नोट डाउन दीज फ्यू पॉइंट्स अबाउट दीज फोर्सेज. इतना ही हमने करना, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं करना. The next is its range is extremely small for the order nuclear dimension 10⁻15 meter. This is the radius of the nucleus, 10⁻15 ranges. It is responsible for the stability of nuclei. This we know. Recent developments have, however, indicated that protons and neutrons are composed of still elementary constants called the quarks. Quarks are the fractional charges. Okay, these are the fractional charges, like the charges of the form, let's say 2/3e, means 2/3 of electronic charge, or 1/3 of electronic charge. These sort of charges are known as quarks. Okay, it's in the same way a few examples or few properties are there for the weak nuclear force as well. You can note down in your notebooks, and this is the table. This is the table of the crux of what we have learned in the above. You can note it down in your notebook. इसके आप ऐसे ही notes बना सकते हो. ठीक है. Next is the nature of physical laws. Nature of physical laws means the statements on which the concepts of physics are based. A law cannot be proved, of course. A new development in physics may extend the range of validity of law. They exist in simple form. मतलब इसका मतलब क्या है? जैसे first example is law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy आपने पहले भी पढ़ा है, that energy of system can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be converted from one form to the other form. This is known as law of conservation of energy. And as far as your law of conservation of charge is concerned, it says that total charge of an isolated system remains conserved. Means we know that we have two types of charges. One is the positive charge and the other is the negative charge. Charge can be transferred from one body to the other body, but charge of this whole system or what we call as the universe remains constant. मतलब इस पूरे यूनिवर्स का जो टोटल चार्ज है ना, वो कांस्टेंट रहता है. चार्ज सिर्फ एक बॉडी से दूसरी बॉडी में ट्रांसफर हो सकता है, खत्म या क्रिएट नहीं कर सकते हम चार्ज को, उसको ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं. दिस इज नोन एज लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ चार्ज. ओके, लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मोमेंटम, अगेन वी हैव लर्नड दिस इन योर क्लास 9th. m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. So in the absence of any external force, linear momentum of a system remains conserved. This is an entirely new term for you, that is the angular momentum. In the same way, the linear momentum means law of conservation of momentum in straight line. Angular momentum deals with law of conservation of momentum in a circular motion. Means whenever a body is in circular motion and we increase its speed in a circular motion, then we apply the law of conservation of angular momentum. And in the absence of external torque, मतलब जैसे linear motion में force होती है ना, एंगुलर मोशन में टॉर्क होती है, एंड टॉर्क इज नोन एज रोटेटिंग इफेक्ट ऑफ फोर्स. जैसे हमारा दरवाजे को खोलने के लिए हम फोर्स जरूर लगाते हैं, पर दरवाजा घूमता है किसी एक पर्टिकुलर एक्सिस के अबाउट, देन वी से दैट द डोर डज नॉट मूव विद द हेल्प ऑफ फोर्स, द डोर मूव विद द हेल्प ऑफ टॉर्क. तो टॉर्क को हम डिफाइन इस तरह से करते हैं, इट इज डिफाइन एज द रोटेटिंग इफेक्ट ऑफ फोर्स. ऐसी फोर्स जो घुमाने वाला इफेक्ट प्रोड्यूस करे, देन इट इज नोन एज टॉर्क. The angular momentum of a system remains conserved. Again, angular momentum means when the body is in circular motion. बस अभी के लिए आपके लिए इतना sufficient है कि the linear momentum deals with the body in straight line motion and angular momentum deals with the body in circular motion. ठीक है? So you can note down these points in your notebooks. We'll continue this in the next video. Thank you.